Hey guys, today we are looking at writing linear functions by rewriting into slope-intercept form. Okay, so the goal here is we want to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Of course, remember slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We also want to identify the starting value. For number one, we have 6x minus 3y equals negative 27. Okay, so to move this into slope-intercept form, the first thing we want to do is subtract 6x from both sides. Now, when we subtract 6x from both sides, we cannot combine negative 27 and negative 6x because one has an x and the other does not. Okay, so what we're left with actually is negative 3y equals negative 6x minus 27. Now we have to get this y completely alone. We have to isolate that variable. Okay, that's a common verbiage that we were using early on in the school year. Okay, we want to isolate this variable. The way we do that is by dividing both sides by negative 3. Now, one thing I want to point out here, guys, is when we divide both sides by negative 3, we cannot just divide one term on this side of the equal sign by negative 3. We have to divide both negative 6x and negative 27 by negative 3. Okay, so when we do that, we end up with y is equal to, well, negative 6x divided by negative 3. Negative 6 divided by negative 3 is 2, positive 2. Negative divided by negative is a 2. So we have 2x, and then negative 27 minus, or divided by negative 3, is 9. So we end up with y equals 2x plus 9, where 2 is my slope, and my starting value is my y-intercept, which is 9. Okay, so when we look at this, we're going to kind of have a general flow when we go from a standard form equation to a slope-intercept form. We're going to add or subtract our x value, and then divide by the number in front of y. Okay, so in this case, we subtracted 6x to both sides, and then we divided by negative 3, the number that's in front of y, to get y is equal to 2x plus 9. Okay, so looking at this one, number 2, I have negative 9x plus 5y is equal to 105. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 9x to the other side. Now remember, when you're moving one term to the other side of the equal sign, see how it starts on the left side? We want to move it to the right side. You have to do the inverse operation, okay? On the left side here, it's telling me to subtract 9x or a negative 9x. Well, the inverse operation of that would be to add because we want to move it to the other side, okay? So we're left with 5y is equal to 9x plus 105. The last step here is divide by the number in front of y. Our number in front of y here is 5. Remember, when we divide, we have to divide everything, each term, by 5 here. So 9 divided by 5, we can't simplify that anymore, so we'd have 9 over 5x plus, and 105 divided by 5 is 21. So our final slope-intercept form equation that we're looking for would be y is equal to 9/5 x plus 21. 9 over 5x plus 21. Okay, where my starting value is, hopefully you guys are saying 21, right? My y-intercept, or my starting value, is 21. Okay, so number 3. Okay, now in number 3, this looks a little different. This isn't point slope form, not standard form anymore, okay? Hopefully the first thing you guys are telling us to do right now is to distribute. Remember, when we distribute here, there's no number here, but we still have to distribute this negative sign to each term inside the parentheses. Well, when we do that, we can imagine this is like a negative 1. So when we distribute, we're going to get y minus 25 is equal to negative 1 times x is negative x, and negative 1 times negative 2 is a positive 2. A negative times a negative is a positive. So I have y minus 25 is equal to negative x plus 2. My last step here is to add 25 to both sides. So I would get y is equal to negative x plus 27. Okay. Again, it says to identify the starting value. What is my starting value here? Hopefully we're saying 27. So my equation in slope-intercept form, or my function, is y equals negative x plus 27, and my starting value is 27. Okay, for number 4, we have y plus 18 is equal to 2/3 times x plus 9. Okay, 2/3 times x is going to be 2/3 x, and 2/3 times 9 is going to be, there's a couple ways you guys can do this. You can put it in your calculator, or you can take 2 times 9 to get 18 and divide it by 3, which is 6. So I'm left with y plus 18 is equal to 2/3 x plus 6. My last step here is to subtract 18 from both sides. When I subtract 18 from both sides, I get y is equal to 2/3 x minus 12. A positive 6 minus 18 is going to leave me with negative 12. Okay, and my starting value here is negative 12. Okay? So my slope is 2/3. My starting value is negative 12. Okay? And that is it for today's lesson.